So there are three things we really need to understand to create strategy around demand generation, and even to create strategy around like specific channels. Like for example, if we're doing cold email, are we going more ABM? Are we going more personalized, or are we going all more automated? For example, if we're paid media, we're doing paid media, which channel do we use? Do we use Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube? Way we understand this is by understanding these three foundational principles. The first one is, what is your lifetime value? How much do you charge, and how much can you charge in the numerous months of, do you have a recurring revenue, or do you just charge everything up front? Or maybe you have a retainer where you charge nothing up front, but everything, whatever your model is, your lifetime value is how much in total you make from the client or, customer. So if they stay with you for 6 months, how much have you made over that 6 months? Or if it's just one big branding package, which costs 20K or 100K, that's the amount that it is. The next is your ICP, your ideal client profile. I've got videos and blogs on b2bhero.co about ICP. ICP is really important, and understanding your ICP is not just about having a broad understanding of your ICP, ideal client profile. It's getting really specific. So it's about actually the businesses that really scale and know how to crack their demand generations are the ones who get actually very specific with not only the problem they solve, but who they're solving it for. So understanding your ICP is super important. The third thing you really need to understand is the size of your market. So that's your TAM, SAM, SOM, total addressable market, serviceable addressable market, and serviceable obtainable market. So just understanding that. Again, I've got videos and blogs about this, but it's basically, how big is your market? Is it really, is everyone you can, serviceable addressable market, is it in the tens of thousands, which is like mine in the tens of thousands, or is it in the millions? Maybe you're more closer to B2C, or you have a product service which is, I don't know, cheap, but can target a lot of people, or is it in the hundreds or just single digit thousands? Because that's going to, if you're over there, you've got to be really focusing on highly personalized stuff. You've got to be on an ABM strategy. Everything got to be personalized. You've got to have multiple touch points. And the way this works is, if you have a really small market, this is really important, that on the scale of things, if you have a really small market, you don't really want to have a really cheap product or service. You're going to be struggling so hard, because imagine all the ABM and touch points and human interactions you need to create to sell something cheap. So if you're on the lower scale, you really need to be selling at least 10K or 50K worth of services. So you need to make sure your business model works as well. Or for example, if you're on where I am at, which is roughly in the tens of thousands, my total market, I will be pushing, for example, a strategy which is closer to personalization, but doesn't have to go all the way to ABM or really hyper personalization, but definitely leaning quite far into the personalization over automation. If you're B2C and your market's millions or even billions, but probably millions, let's say, then yeah, you can have zero automation. Or maybe it's a B2B, but you can hit up, hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. Then you can have way less automation, way less personalization, and way more automation, and just have lower conversion rates, but it doesn't matter because you can still get the conversions that you need. My philosophy is always push more to personalization. So understanding the dynamics of these three things is really important in understanding strategy when it comes to the specific channels. ICP, for example, will play into what platforms we use in advertising, or who we target when we're doing a cold email. And there's a whole video around this, but like, if you are targeting entrepreneurs, who are just starting out, then Facebook might be a great platform. But if you're targeting a mid-cap or an enterprise level business, and you're trying to get to the marketing director, or even a manager, marketing manager, sales manager, one of these kinds of people, you're going to really struggle to hit these people on Facebook. You're probably going to have to go to LinkedIn. So understanding channels is also really, part of the dynamics of these three things.